Is there anyone else here besides me who is acutely aware that we are drawing close to the end of summer? Yeah, raise your hand if you're with me. Yes, but summer is still here. I got my hair cut this week, and my stylist, when I sat in the chair, said to me, "So how was your summer?" And then before I could say anything, he very quickly corrected himself and said, "How is your summer going?" Even if I wasn't a rabbi and the high holidays weren't around the corner, I think that I, like so many of you, would be falling into that trap of mourning the end of summer, even as it is still here. We must savor these days, and we must not let ourselves get ahead of time. There is a certain sweetness to summer. Even those of us who are no longer attached to the academic year in any direct way tend to experience the summer as a space and place of freedom and delight. With that in mind, I would like to share with you one of my favorite end of summer poems. Yes, I have some end of every season poems, called From Blossoms by Lee Young Lee. I think the words will be up on the screen, but you can also just choose to listen to me reading the words to you. From Blossoms. From blossoms comes this brown paper bag of peaches we bought from the boy at the bend of the road where we turned toward signs painted peaches. From laden boughs, from hands, from sweet fellowship in the bins comes nectar at the roadside, succulent peaches we devour, dusty skin and all, comes the familiar dust of summer, dust we eat. Oh, to take what we love inside, to carry within us an orchard, to eat not only the skin but the shade, not only the sugar but the days, to hold the fruit in our hands, adore it, then bite into the round jubilance of peach. There are days we live as if death were nowhere in the background, from joy to joy to joy, from wing to wing, from blossom to impossible blossom, to sweet, impossible blossom. I love how the poet hones in on something as small as a peach to draw us into the expansiveness of joy. It's everywhere, surrounding us in the world, in the peach, and in ourselves. Before the peach even touches our lips, he opens us to so many simple wonders. There is the brown paper bag. Who would think about that but a poet? In a world of plastic disposable bags, canvas logo imprinted totes, eco-friendly pouches made from recycled water bottles, there is something so nostalgic, so wonderfully elemental, so joyful about a brown paper bag. There is the boy. We don't know how old he is, what he looks like, what language he speaks, how he's dressed. Are his parents the farmers of the farm that produced these peaches? Is he bored? Is he relishing the slow hours of these days? All we know is that he is in his youth, and that youth is a place of possibility. There is the bend in the road. What a charming and important detail. It's not clear if we're in a car or walking or on our bikes, but an ordinary bend in a rambling, endless country road brings a sense of excitement and discovery. What is it around the bend? We do have a hint. There are the signs, hand-painted, an important detail. Are they on cardboard? Are they on scraps of wood? It doesn't really matter. Somehow the fact that these signs are unmanufactured hints towards the wonder of the peach itself, something created directly from nature, from God. Then we come to the laden boughs. Lee directs our vision to the tree, heavy with fruit. It's a vision so richly abundant that it fills us even before the peach fills us. Just imagining where it came from, just imagining it hanging as ornaments on that tree. And we have the human touch, the hands that picked that fruit, that put them in the bag, small golden gifts for strangers who are now connected in the most personal and life-affirming way through nourishment of our bodies and through the enlivening of our senses. And then the poem becomes a prayer. Lee urges us, reminds us, tells us that we are taking it all in, all of it, not just the peach, but everything we love, carrying within ourselves a grove of all that awakens meaning, of joy and fulfillment. We are the embodiment of all that there is, dry dust and sweet flesh, sugar and shade. All of this blossoms within us as we hold that fuzzy peach, as we adore it, as we smell it and feel it, as we taste it. Even death is part of this poem's sacred offering. In this psalm of sweetness, Lee doesn't deny death. He includes the fundamental truth that we move through our life from beginning to end. He suggests, I believe, from dust to dust. But even that shadow of dust from which we came and where we go, that dust of the road, that dust on the skin of the peach, all of that is part of the joy that fills us. All of that joy that provides us moments of immortality. We are so carried away with boundless delight that we forget. I love how Lee describes the blossoms as impossible, because blossoms aren't impossible. They are science. They are right there on trees, on plants, all around. We know that they will grow into fruit and will either then be eaten and taken into our bodies, they will fall into the earth, they will grow again, nourishing us next summer, nourishing the young and the old of this generation and next, again and again and again. If anything in life is certain, the blossoms are certain. But he uses this word, the impossibility of the blossoms, to so powerfully express his bursting wonder at the jubilation that God provides. This very scientific, predictable process, it's impossible because it is so extraordinary. The earth produces, we take it in, we carry it, and we share it, and God is a part of all of it. I return to this poem every August, drawn by the seasonal connection. But this year, at Parashat Eikev, I heard it in a new way through the musings of Moses in this week's Torah portion. You see, we find ourselves these weeks, this month, in the midst of Deuteronomy, a collection of very verbose farewell speeches that Moses speaks to the Israelites before he dies, and the Israelites continue on to the promised land without him. Deuteronomy is Moses wrestling with his mortality. He has been blessed with 120 summers. That is quite a gift. But it's not enough for Moses. He wants 121. But tucked away in the verbosity of his conflicted and intense oratory, in the midst of his longing and bitterness, his challenge, there are 3 words that to me feel very much at peace and centered, that reflect the wondrous love and gratitude expressed in Lee's poem, and they are in this week's Torah portion. When Moses tells us, and I believe also says to himself, Ve'achalta v'savata uvacharta. Eat, be satisfied, and bless. This is the magic of poetry and prayer. Moses and Lee Young Lee distill their wisdom into simple but such evocative words that reflect our lives and our longings, that lead us to live more fully. Ve'achalta v'savata uvacharta. Eat, be satisfied, and bless. Poet and prophet invite us to not only eat, but to live with kavanah, with openness and intention, to not get ahead of time, but to be in time and have time be in us. Their words invite us to slow down, to cherish everyday wonders with all of our senses, reveling in physical sustenance and sensory delight, in memory and imagining, in our youth, in our very day. Let the stories and the settings of a piece of fruit, they say, settle inside us. Savor that feeling, that fullness of joy, and offer gratitude. This week, a friend told me that she tries to bring a little bit of summer into each of her days, even in the darkest days of winter, even those days that are particularly challenging. She said even when she can't immerse herself in this kind of joy, that she can almost always tap into a small taste of summer delight. I'm going to invite everyone here to just take a moment of summer delight. It could be something that you've experienced today. It could be something you experienced in your youth. It could be something that you imagine because you connect it with summer. And I'm going to ask you to just hold it close right now. A little sliver of summer delight. And holding it and savoring it, I will offer this poem one more time, but now I invite you to hear it as a prayer and to take it forth with this Shabbat through these days of summer into every single day of your life. From blossoms comes this brown paper bag of peaches we bought from the boy at the bend of the road, where we turn toward signs painted peaches. From laden boughs, from hands, from sweet fellowship in the bins comes nectar at the roadside. Succulent peaches we devour, dusty skin and all, comes the familiar dust of summer, dust we eat. Oh, to take what we love inside, to carry within us an orchard, to eat not only the skin but the shade, not only the sugar but the days, to hold the fruit in our hands, adore it, then bite into the round jubilance of peach. There are days we live as if death were nowhere in the background. From joy to joy to joy, from wing to wing, from blossom to impossible blossom to sweet, impossible blossom. Amen.